What is up, my plos and my casts? It's your boy, your co-host Paul, with my other co-host Evan.
Yup.
It's co-host and co-host, right? I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
it would be host and co-host because
Right.
it's like not one isn't more than the other. I guess Craig would be the
host.
Yeah, or
That's
just
what I was going to
co-host,
say.
yes.
Okay. Shout out Craig. He's in the studio. He's recording everything. We are here to break down in depth Bad Batch Season 1, Episode 2, Cut and Run.
Boom. Of course.
It was pretty good. Shorter than the premiere. I feel like, of course, like we couldn't have 74-minute long episodes all season. That's a bit ambitious, but still a lot to get into. Me and Evan both have been binge watching it since it came out. We've both seen it 8 times.
Oh yeah, sure. Yep.
We're kind of experts, but I'm gonna let
Definitely.
Evan again kind of take the rails on it because,
Right.
as you know, as you saw in our last video, Evan kind of knows everything about Star Wars. So I've been told he has another bombshell tonight. He has another bombshell tonight.
You literally asked me if I did, and I said that I did not.
So stay tuned for that.
Whatever. All right. We're gonna start it off similar to the last review. Basically going to old stuff first. Callbacks, introductions. My man, Cut Lawquane, coming back, and his family for another episode in the Filoniverse, I guess we'll call it.
The Filoniverse. Nice.
But what a great choice, I feel like. What's fun is all of the voice actors came back to reprise their roles. One of the kids is actually Ventress's voice actress. So that's pretty cool.
Maybe that's why I recognize the voice. I was gonna say one of the kids' voices. I was like, yeah.
I think it's she does like Ventress and like a lot of side characters, kids mostly.
Gotcha.
But yeah, all the voice actors came back. I really liked them getting like an upgrade animation wise because when we first see Cut, I think it's like season 2 of Clone Wars. So having them visually up to par now looks really cool. My man with the streak of gray and the mutton chops.
The mutton chops were
nice.
Ooh,
yeah.
Ooh.
The house looks the same as I remember at least. Like their whole area, like their little farm, just looks really nice. There's a line in there about Rex was there the day before. I think it's really nice that Rex remembers them and like goes to check up on them, or at least this once, just to make sure that everything was all right. We missed him by a day.
So, yeah.
But I'm not too worried about it because we know he'll show up eventually. But I just like the idea that he's always, he's thinking about them and, how he can help them out or whatever. And like he told them about the chips. That's something I wanted to ask you. What are your thoughts on Cuts on his chip? Like how would that even work?
I was thinking about that too. Like you would think like he's just like any other clone, right? Even though he's defected, he didn't like it should still work. But I'm thinking that since he was already like a deserter, I'm thinking his programming was already weakened. So like in the sense that Bad Batch are all mutated clones, he might have been to a very small extent mutated. So then like he could resist the order since he already is breaking orders type of thing.
Right.
If
I think no, yeah, that definitely does. I feel like if he was ever in the situation where he was given an order like that, we would see maybe like a little bit of kind of like what we saw with Rex with Order 66, a little bit of resistance there.
Yeah.
Just because he's so separated from the army and all that. But Cut and his family, they were all completely cut off from like any communications. So he would not even have any way of receiving the order. I remember like it was just going through the comms and all the clones were good, but he doesn't have. I assume he doesn't have a comm at least, or if he does, it's like in his helmet, which if he even still has, it's like stored away in their barn or something.
Right.
And even if somebody were to come up to him, like an officer, doesn't it only work through Palpatine? Isn't he the only one that can give the orders?
Yeah,
or like
all the orders, Order 60. I think it was like 100 orders, but it's exclusively for the Supreme Chancellor to give.
So the
Yeah,
situation would have to be like they would first of all, if he were to get found, the only way I could see them even needing him, like they wouldn't need him. He's just a random clone.
yeah,
They
exactly.
would more likely just throw him in prison or kill him.
I was gonna say they would
Um,
just punish him for for
yeah,
deserting in the first
but
place.
the only thing I could see is some brutal sort of, you know, I order you to order this, kill any deserter and their family or something like that. So
Yeah,
like that would be like he would just kill his own family and pretty dark stuff, which I don't think he's not that big of a character at this point for them to, you know, go into that more. And even if he wanted to get the chip out, I don't think they really would have that technology in his little his barn. Like, where do they get it? Like, they needed in season 7, like they needed the like whole med bay of a Venator,
yep.
and like Rex got like a CAT scan, and they had to get like like I doubt they would be able to even get it out.
They're just gonna go digging in with
Yeah.
garden hose. And
Is it okay if there's like dirt on this? I think it makes sense for him to not, because he hasn't gotten any orders in
Yep.
years. Like, so he wouldn't even just hearing about them from somebody else wouldn't suddenly trigger, his loyalty. I'm glad they left safely. There was a little bit of
Yeah.
time I was like wondering if maybe
Ah,
like Cut or Sue would like get captured and like they would be separated or something. But I'm glad they got away. Well, how did you feel about just that's who they brought back for this specific episode?
I think thematically, it just makes so much sense. That's why, like, again, when you told me about it, like, I was just like, my jaw dropped. I was like, dude, makes perfect sense. We have a band of deserters who like are going like, where are they gonna go? Oh, another clone who's been through this exact situation. Like it was perfect. I'm kind of glad that I feel like they're not. Maybe we'll see him again one episode, but I feel like for the most part we're done
Mhm.
seeing Cut. But I am glad we got this. Like he's kind of like a stepping stone. Like I think there's going to be they'll probably run to or they will definitely run into Rex, but maybe in the near future, and then he'll actually help them. But Cut isn't like
Yeah.
anything. He would have let them sleep at his house, but he's not going to help them fight. He's not going to
Yeah, he
help them
just
beat
wants
Crosshair.
to protect his family.
He's a family man. So I think like just this episode was just enough
Mhm.
because we get to see him again. He's got the mutton chops. He's doing good. He gets off safely. He'll probably start another farm on another planet
Yeah.
somewhere.
Um,
But yeah, it was really nice to see.
yeah,
I like returning characters like that.
yeah. If they had like a whole arc for each side character or clone from Clone Wars, like we'd be here forever.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
um, I'm fine with what we had. Like, just to know he's still kicking around, and that that like a deep dive into the episodes like that was even thought of. I would like maybe just like one scene of like him and Rex like talking because we didn't actually get to see them talk.
yeah.
Like just
Missed
like
it by a day.
a reunion. Maybe just seeing his new life or new house wherever they decided to settle, and just to know that they're there and they're happy and it's whatever. But just after that, like I'm good if they don't, because he's not supposed to be a main character. It's just
Yeah.
for one episode that they decided to bring it back, which was really cool.
Did we mention the mutton chops?
I think we did mention the Munchops. Maybe not.
They were looking good.
Oh my god! And he had gray hair, a little gray streak
The
too.
little streak. Ah,
Yeah, not even full gray.
what a
Um,
lad.
I guess next up, real quick, because we talked about it before, but like, just the quality of the animation is just insane. Like
Oh my
my
goodness.
favorite example of that is when they get to Saleucami and the door opens and Omega walks out, and just the lighting from inside the ship and outside, and you could see dust particles floating around as she like looks around. Like it looks like a movie, like it just some animated movie that you would go watch with like millions of dollars as their budget, which they probably do have, but that's not the point. Um,
I was gonna say they
yeah,
probably do have a
yeah.
bonkers
Oh,
budget,
of
but
course,
they're putting it to good use.
right.
It is streets ahead.
Yeah,
Like you can really tell they put in the effort, and it's just like it's. I said it before, but it's the same Clone Wars like style, just upgraded, which I think is
yeah,
wonderful. Like they could have gotten even more realistic. I think it would have thrown it off because it misses kind of that charm of the art style. But like so far they've nailed it,
yeah.
and like I feel like they're not going to stop here.
Of course not. I hope not. I
Yeah, I
I
hope.
I also like having the two different styles. Because like realistic and animated is two completely different things.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh, we already mentioned it, but Cut looks great too, like with the upgrade for the models for him and his family. Um, Shout out to Kevin Kiner who does the music for all the like the we've
Hmm.
had the Bad Batch theme for like what two or like in the show at least for only 2 episodes, and it's a banger. Every time it comes on
Yeah.
at the end of the episode, I'm like, okay, this is I can like 100% fully accept this into my Star Wars music database.
Every time I'm like, oh, this is a Star Wars. This is new. I like it.
Yeah.
But
And
then
then
I'm
like a
like,
week
oh
later,
wait,
nope, this is Star Wars.
it is Star Wars. Exactly.
Yeah. Dude, the one of my favorite songs is the Clone Wars theme, which is just Star Wars except militarized with like the
Yep.
drums and the it's just so good. Kevin
Yep.
Connor's fantastic. Moving on to arguably the biggest subject of this episode, which is Omega.
Omega.
Um, I feel like this was more of a setup episode for her, like just building on to the relationships, at least with Hunter, that she has.
Oh yeah.
Because it, you know, that's been the big thing that we've seen throughout, and like the biggest moments are in this episode are between them two.
I really like the dynamic they're building. Because like they're all brothers, the Bad Batch and well, I guess sister and Omega. But you could definitely tell, like, if not father figure, like the big brother role model with
Mhm.
Hunter and Omega. And like, of course, you can see how Omega like really wants to be like him. Like, she wants to go. Like, she feels at home and safe with him. But I feel like we also saw a lot on Hunter's part of the relationship. Like,
Yeah,
he just wants to keep her safe. Like in episode one, they go back for her. Like he wants to go back to bring her with him. And now like even like I feel like he wants to be with her, but he realized that oh, it's probably safer if she goes with a family. She'll probably get a
yeah,
better life if she grows up with Cut and his family. And like I feel like that hurt him. Like like he's almost giving away like his little sister. Like oh,
yeah,
that's a big deal. I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad they're together. I feel like there's no way they would get rid of Omega on the
yeah.
second
Not that
episode.
early. No.
But I like that struggle and like Hunter already trying to do like the bigger thing, even though it's harder. Like it shows he cares even more than he puts on. And I really think it's like this episode might seem like I guess filler, quote unquote, where I mean they kind of just go to a planet and
Mhm.
then go away from that planet if you want to be like if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah,
But like emotionally, I feel like there was a lot that they showed here.
yeah. And filler can be really good.
Yeah,
I,
that's
I, yeah. I remember saying in one of our other, I forget which video, but Clone Wars is like 80% filler. All it is filling. It's literally filling a gap between two movies. That's the
that's
whole
true.
thing is essentially filler.
And
And it's some of the best Star Wars we have.
like in
So
episodes like these when like it's not a major battle set piece or something like what people wouldn't consider filler, you have like stories where you get the most emotional growth,
Mhm.
like when the backdrop is simple enough that you can focus and hone in on the characters. Some of the best stories happen there, like you said.
Yeah,
So I really enjoyed this episode where some people might not, and I get that.
yeah. And it's not even like that it's useless because that that emotional or at least, characters connecting or talking, with each other builds up their relationship, which later on in episodes that are more relevant that have things actually going on, you're going to care more about these characters because you've seen them,
Exactly. Yep.
just interacting. Because if we just skip right to, oh my God, they're going to take Omega away like 4 episodes later, if they've had no personal moments together or like really any signs of them bonding, then you're not really gonna like you'll be like, oh dang, that sucks. But for the most part, you
But
won't
yeah,
really care. So you need the in between to build it up. Um,
exactly.
yeah. I hope we see more of Omega discovering new things. Like just little like her picking something. I was like, whoa, what is this? And it's like just some
That would be dirt.
that would be dirt.
That
Um,
was a great scene.
Yeah. One of my when you were talking about how, like, she sees him as, like, a brother or, like, a father, one of my favorite parts was when, the kids are taking her out to go play, and she looks over to him, and like as if looking for permission, and he like nods and smiles, and then she was looking for
Yeah.
his okay, like saying, you can go ahead.
Yeah.
Another thing with Hunter, we can see that like he's approaching this from the point of view or from the perspective of a soldier, because that's all he is. Like when they save her from the creature, his first instinct is to reprimand her because that's what you would do to a soldier who disobeyed an order. But
Mm.
Cut, being more of a parent, sees it as this, like that was dangerous. They probably need to feel comfortable, and like that, they want to feel safe. So his immediate instinct was nurturing, while Hunter's was reprimanding. Not neither with like ill intent, but just that's just how he thinks the right way to handle the situation is.
Yeah.
So I
Hunter
just thought
Hunter
it was
like
interesting. Yeah.
he's like the best leader on the battlefield. But you can't have that. Like this is a new area for him. He's never
Hmm.
experienced anything like that. And seeing him
Yeah.
grow, I'm sure we're gonna see more of it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's changing his frame of reference really,
Yeah.
which is really cool to see.
Yeah. And I'm the stuff with Hunter and Omega, I loved it. It's great. I'm not saying I want less of it. I am just saying I hope anyway that we get more with the other members. Maybe not as much, cuz clearly it's Hunter and Omega is the big one. But just like little moments, like we saw like her taking a nap with Wrecker, like that was cool.
Yeah.
Um but just like little, I hope we get more with the rest of the team, because it's the Bad Batch. It's not Hunter from the Bad Batch. It's about them.
Very
Um,
true.
so like, because we've seen very little of her, like other than Hunter, I'd argue Crosshair is one of the biggest people that she's had a moment with, and he was only in one episode. Like the moment in the cell where she talks to him. I hope we get some more of that between the other members. Again, like what we have with Hunter is great, and I hope they keep going with that. And that should be the primary focus. But I hope just like a little as she starts, like we saw with Wrecker and Cut's kids, how he's like Uncle Wrecker,
Yeah. That
just
was
like
cool.
little bits that show that the rest of them are accepting her as much as Hunter is. And I think we'll be pretty good there. That nap scene was really funny. They're just like passed out, there's junk everywhere. Um,
Oh, I said in the review, I don't know if you were gonna get into later, but when she takes her little headdress off, I think we're gonna see something significant with it. I think that might have been like a
mm,
present from someone or like a symbol of something.
okay.
I feel like it was weird that she took it off and we had a scene dedicated to it. So I'm saying it's foreshadowing. I know you said,
Hmm.
she's just sad, which probably like it might be the case, but that was something that stood out to me
Yeah.
that I feel like we're gonna have some more backstory around that or around Omega in
Yeah.
general.
That
I
would make
want I
sense.
want to mention that though.
Yeah. Because like they paused on it for a while. She like rubbed it with her hand. It could
Yeah.
have been, maybe it was like a gift from like a clone on Camino. Maybe 99 gave it to her. Ooh.
Oh, oh,
Um, I no, she probably was not alive when 99 died. I'm trying to think of the timeline. They age weird, so I don't know.
yeah.
It could have been a gift from somebody on Camino, like one of the Kaminoans, like that
Mhm.
she worked with in their labs or whatever. I feel like a big part of it was her just feeling, maybe like she feels kind of like not separated, but that was like a representation of her being comfortable on Camino, knowing what she does all the time, knowing her place. She takes it off, and she's
Right.
in a new world. She has no idea what's happening. I don't know, just spitting some Shakespeare
Right.
because,
Yeah, right.
or,
Getting extra deep in it.
or it could have been nothing, like to just, oh,
Yeah.
she's sad.
Yeah, she's
But
sad.
it
Here's
would
her
definitely be
headdress.
cool if that ends up having some meaning later on.
Yeah.
Next up, I wanted to talk about the clones, which for a lot of people might not have been the biggest thing in the episode. And it wasn't for us, but like I feel like it's one of the biggest things that stuck out with me. We can tell from this now, obviously, that they're essentially stormtroopers,
Mm.
before recruits come into play. Um, and like you could just tell, they all sound like they've lost their personalization, they've lost their color, they've lost their personalities. They all sound the same, they all act the same. They're just cold. They see all the citizens as just numbers. They're no, like it's just, I hate it. I
I
like it, but I hate it. And it's a good thing that I hate it, because that's what happens. That's how I should feel.
I was gonna say it's truly remarkable for I guess Filoni or whoever's at the helm of this to have all of Clone Wars, the animated series, us falling in love with the clones, like the Bad Batch in general. We fell in love with what 4 episodes, that one arc in
Mhm.
season 7. We love all of them, and to just shift that right on its head. Now, like, oh, it makes me sick to my stomach seeing
Yeah.
clones act the way they do in this episode and the last one. The way they've written them and like the mood shift, like it makes you like, oh, like something's not right. And
Yeah.
it's not. It's post Order 66. Like that's exactly how you're supposed to feel. And I think they're playing it like
Yeah.
really good.
It's ironic because they were trying to win the war against the droids and they won, but then they turned into the
They turn
droids.
right into droids. Yep.
Mhm. Um, I I think that could be a good way of excusing like how they didn't notice 2 clones, or like no, not 2, sorry, like 5 clones
Yeah.
running around this little spaceport. Um Obviously the Bad Batch, they don't look exactly the same, so you can pass on that. But Cut is nothing special about him, like physically at least. He has the
Mhm.
same face. He's just a regular clone. I see it as more they don't even take into account what people look like because
They don't
they're just
care.
numbers. They're just assets,
Yeah.
or like just pieces to be moved around and accounted for. They don't even connect with the person anymore. So that's at least in my head, that's why it took so long for even just one clone to almost notice Cut, who looks identical, other than the fact he was wearing a hat, which was a
And
pretty nice hat.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I like all their outfits, especially
Oh yeah,
Wrecker. I think Wrecker looked cool.
the poncho, dudes were
Um,
rocking it.
but no, I think like their loss of personality and like I guess empathy towards other is like exactly what Order 66 is about. Because like they've been fighting with their Jedi generals, like they've been bonding with them.
Yeah,
So for Order 66 to work, it would need to strip away like their ability to see them as other people. Because how are you going to kill someone? Like you spent so much fight, you've risked your
years
lives with this
possibly.
person, and just to turn on them, you would need to like shift into like
Mhm.
again that droid like cold hearted, like exactly what you were saying. I think that's a direct result of like the programming of Order
Yeah,
66.
I don't think it was just Order 66. Like is because the order says that the Jedi have committed treason and they must be eliminated, but I feel like other than that, they would be the same. So I'm assuming there's been other orders in place, or other like, other commands given to from other higher ups that are just essentially, you are now this, and then they just go do this, go do they. So I don't think it all stems from just Order 66. I don't know, because we don't really know. They don't really
Yeah,
get into the different, because there's at least 65 others orders, and then more past 66. Um, I think there's like a list somewhere of them all, but
I remember hearing about a different one. But yeah, they definitely specified the others, but they're all like doomsday type of ones.
yeah,
Like they have to kill all the Jedi's, or they have to kill all the senators, or something. Like it's all crazy. Like
they're
the orders are like the chief. Like this is gonna mess up the like whole landscape of the galaxy.
yeah,
Order of 66, of course, being the most notable and probably the most
of
awful one.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whenever I think about the other orders, I just think about the one bit from the Robot Chicken Star Wars where Vader's like, "What were the other orders?"
I don't even think I've seen that clip. I'm gonna look that up after.
Oh yeah, it's like, "What are the other 65 orders?" And he starts singing.
I've seen a lore video though. I think it's like Order 27 or something,
Yeah, there was
where
one that
it's
was like
like
really messed up where like they kill
yeah,
everybody.
or like they kill all the Padawans or
Yeah,
something.
something like that.
But yeah,
I'm wondering if by the end of the show, I think it'd be really cool if we get to see the transition from not only clones to recruits, but like clone armor to stormtrooper. Like if we get to see like how many clones stay, do they get all decommissioned, or is it just certain amounts at a certain time? Slowly do they get decommissioned? Or is it just all instantly replaced with recruits that have been in training for months while the clones are like the temporary? Kind of like it at the end of season 7, we saw at the end there was like stormtroopers. It was full
I
Empire,
was gonna
so
say
post Bad
yeah.
Batch with Vader coming up, all the stormtroopers. I hope we kind of at the very end get to see some sort of transition because we know eventually it goes from clones to human recruits, which are cheaper. So I think that could be really cool because that would really just be the nail in the coffin. Like first you love the clones, then they betray everyone, then they become mindless droids, and then they're just decommissioned and replaced with
Yep.
people like they were never even there.
Yep. I think that is where it would be headed to. And I think like Crosshair already, almost that prototype stormtrooper armor. But I think it'd be cool, even like imagine if the ending scene of Bad Batch is Darth Vader pulling up to
Oh
that
man,
planet again. I don't think it would work like that,
no, probably not the
but
same planet.
yeah, but seeing
Um,
some stormtroopers, I feel like high
yeah, just
possibility.
cameos. We don't want it to turn into just like Rebels
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, right.
Although I guess that wouldn't be so bad. Because I think there is supposedly a sequel in the works for Rebels. We got to hurry up on that.
Check
um,
out the series linked
oh wow! Look at the
below.
plug. Definitely set that
Plugging
up
it
on purpose.
up. Let's go.
Um, so the last couple things I had was just more details about the episode specifically, other than characters. I thought it was cool hearing more about chain codes. Just building up the world and the lore.
Mhm.
And more just having instead of people being people, they're just numbers in a system. I remember Tech and Echo were talking about it. And Tech was like, "It's genius. You could just identify anyone by their number," which I guess is true. That's how the clones worked, but they gave themselves names. Um, the hologram of that Imperial officer, that officer is Vice Admiral Rampart. That is his name. That's all I know about him. But he was big of enough of a character to get a Black Series figure, so
Oh,
I feel like we might be seeing him
more
a
to
little bit in the
see.
future. Yeah,
Ah,
hopefully.
interesting. I did not know that. I wanted to add too. I really liked how
Mhm.
quickly we're seeing the influence of the Empire take over the galaxy. I
Yeah.
mean, Order 66 literally just happened. I'm pretty sure it's been days, and we're already seeing like clones who are helping out. Boom, they're turning their bad, and now they're just maintaining and holding like almost like hostage these planets.
Yeah, they were taking
And
all the
like
chips that they found, like, not even
mhm,
military ships, just ships in general were just getting impounded.
like join the Empire or be conquered. And like that's like the Empire is pretty bad, and we're seeing
Yeah.
that firsthand, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, they were switching currencies too. The Republic credits are no longer worth
Yep.
anything. You had to switch to Imperial. This was an interesting thing that I thought about. I was thinking, wow, I guess I was thinking like the Bad Batch must have some sort of what are they thinking when they like shoot and kill other clones? I feel like that could be an interesting topic because at first I was like, oh man, that must be horrible. Because if you think back to season 7, Rex was like he didn't want to kill anyone. He just stunned them all. He was like crying. He didn't want to do it. Um, so there could be that possibly. But then at the same time, does the Bad Batch even feel that connection with regular clones because they're so different? And we saw, at least in the lunchroom scene, there's like a little bit of prejudice against them. And if there wasn't before Order 66, there's at least, enough of a difference. They're literally their own squad because they don't align with the others. They don't even look the same. But I wonder, like, what the psychological effects of that could be because we saw it with Rex, who was identical to them. I'm wondering if that we'll get anything about how they feel about doing something like that, having to kill their own brothers. Which they're still brothers technically.
Yeah. I think Rex is like probably the best clone ever.
Yeah.
But like that's not something like as common to feel such empathy for his brothers. Like I feel like I guess the Bad Batch, like you said, they already had that kind of step of like
Mhm.
disassociation where like we're not really like them. And now I feel like it's an us or them type of thing. Like they're shooting at us, I'd rather kill them and we survive. But
Mhm.
Rex is the opposite. He's like, no, I don't care if they hate me, they want to kill me. Like they're still my brothers. I think Rex is like going above and beyond.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe even a little more normal to say these my brothers, they're not my brothers anymore. They're
Yeah.
evil, they're droids.
They had no
Like
choice.
exactly. And I think that's kind of what the Bad Batch are at. And like Ahsoka even like she's on Rex's side where like like I fought with these guys, but then we see Obi-Wan and Yoda in episode 3. They're slicing through them.
Really
So
impaling them.
Yeah, so I think it's like there's two mentalities towards it. Like it's
Mhm.
either if they're on the other side, I'm sorry, but it's what I gotta do, or I don't care that you're on the other side, I still love you. And
Mhm.
I think like we've only seen I think Rex and Ahsoka like out of everyone who have gone that step ahead and said no, like I'm still fighting for you guys, even that we're on the other side. Which
Yeah,
like I feel like that's the exception. Like I feel like that's a special
probably.
case. I don't feel like normally people would stray that way.
Right.
But
Um,
but I think it is a cool dynamic. I feel like they might explore it. Like we have what
yeah.
16 episodes to go.
14 or
Es-
16 in total, I think. I don't remember but
And
it's around there.
yeah, and I would say especially with Crosshair because like with Crosshair you don't have that disassociation. Like that's their brother. Like there's no two ways. So I feel like they're gonna like it's they'll lean more towards like Rex and Ahsoka's philosophy
Yeah.
for Crosshair at least.
Yeah. I think specifically Echo would be the target of a story like that because he is just a regular clone who was like,
Yeah,
messed with.
and
Maybe there would be like a case where they're on a mission or something, and like Echo, we need you to do this, and he's like, I can't. I don't want to. And there's like a hostage clone or some sort of
yeah.
But he would be the only one that I think this is just a stretch. This is me just thinking out loud. But he would be the only one I think that would have any sort of heavy feeling about having to like kill and shoot at his own brothers. Like, what if he sees somebody that used to be his friend in the 501st? Like,
Yeah,
what if Rex followed the order and he runs into Rex?
don't say
What would
that.
that be? It's okay. Rex is fine. He didn't do it.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I think like Echo, Rex, Fives, like those are guys who like their bond is just like the step above what normal clones would have. So
Mhm.
I think yeah, we might see Echo do. I think that makes a lot of sense actually.
Yeah, I'm anticipating a Rex Echo reunion scene.
Oh,
That'd
I
be
can't
pretty
wait
nice.
for it, dude. I'll
Yeah.
cry. I'll cry on camera.
Any other details you wanted to bring up?
I don't think so, but prediction time?
I think prediction time. Uh, we hyped
Well,
up prediction time just then, but there's not really much to predict. So, because we
I
didn't
was
really
gonna
get a
say,
lot.
I was gonna say, my prediction, same exact thing as last time. They're gonna go to another planet.
Oh,
I don't know, maybe Coruscant, maybe still.
maybe.
I
They
still
were in
don't think it's
Coruscant in the
gonna.
trailer at some point, weren't they?
That's I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Um, but I still don't think it'll be Rex. I think he's gonna be like a mid-season thing. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be huge. But I think they'll run into someone. I think I don't know. Like I feel like next episode is gonna be action heavy, and someone's gonna be like on their
Yeah.
side, helping them figure stuff out.
Yeah. There was like a little like a 30-second spot I think on YouTube. I don't even remember. I think there was something about like either them being like mercenaries or going to a mercenary about something if I am remembering. But
Hmm.
I don't want to look into it too much because I want to leave some surprise. Um
Yeah.
so, and if it is the episode where they go to Coruscant, I think that's where a lot of the action from the trailer was, like when they're on speeders and like they're just driving around. That might have been Coruscant.
Mhm.
So yeah, it definitely could be a lot of action because we know the episode with the Rex at least. It's at if there's only one, from what we saw in the trailer, they were at like a scrapyard for all the old Venators that were getting demolished and just scrapped for parts. I think that's where they were. That could have been just a mixing of two scenes, but um, that was what I remembered. So if they're going to Coruscant on some other thing, then I guess Rex would be a couple episodes down the line. One last thing that I remembered writing about. Um, we do know that Fennec is in this from The Mandalorian at some point. What happened to Boba Fett? But I think having him would be a really interesting conflict with the Bad Batch, considering he's a clone. That's just a really stretched out, mostly because I just want to see animated Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Is the basically. Um, we never got that Clone Wars episode of him versus Cad Bane, and I'm
I
still
was
upset
gonna
about it.
say, yeah,
But I don't know. That could be cool because they're all clones. Just cloning around, just clone things. Had to be
cloning
there.
around. Yep. Um, yeah, that would be cool. Watch we see Boba. If we see Boba, I'll Venmo you $100.
Oh, well, I'm
Heard it,
leaving that
heard it,
video. We have it on record.
heard it here first.
In any capacity. Like, if it's just a shot of his gauntlet or his armor, anything Boba Fett, you have to.
It's like Slave One in the background, like it's a
Anything Fett.
cameo thing.
Yeah, it's like the slave one is in, like, 2 frames of a shot or something. Boom.
And someone finds it
The
online.
100 big ones.
Oh
Just gonna
man,
DM you
dude.
the picture, be like, "Boom, pay up."
Whew. All right.
Alright, so overall, I thought this was a good episode. I don't know if there's a lot of people out there that didn't like it, because I haven't really been paying attention, but it's basically a side quest episode.
Yeah.
Like, they go see Cut, it's not very relevant to the main story, because in the end, they just end up back in space waiting for something to do.
Yeah.
Um, but still, like we said earlier, like, it was more about setting up the connection between Omega and the Bad Batch, which I think will help later on when they do other things that, requires you to care about them. But I don't think side quest episodes are really that bad of a thing, because especially with a group like this, putting them in different situations is always going to be fun. Like, you know, because the point is the group, not really what they're doing. So you just put the group somewhere, and seeing how they interact with everything, I think is a big part of what the show is meant to be. So I don't mind filler like that. Um, if that might be every episode. Like, each episode is a new side quest, a new plot that they have to, it's like a villain of the week thing.
Mm.
Um, which could also be cool. What are you looking forward to from here, at least? And what do you feel about this episode?
Uh, I agree to pretty much everything you said. Again, it kind of like raises the stakes for later on. Like now we're starting to care more about Omega. We're starting to
Yeah.
see how the group kind of molds together. Again, like you said, it doesn't necessarily drive any plot forward, but it's still I feel like if I miss this episode, I would be missing out like overall.
Yeah.
I think I gave episode 1 an 8.9. I think I'm gonna go like I'll say 8.2 for this episode. Still a good like I liked watching it.
Yeah.
I'll probably rewatch it. But like I feel like when all the episodes come out,
I'm definitely
like
gonna
there's
binge
gonna
the whole thing.
be yeah, but I feel like there's gonna be stronger episodes than this. Not
Yeah.
saying this is bad, but it makes so much sense to be episode 2. Like where else would you put this episode
Yeah.
besides here? Like it works perfectly for what it is.
Like a
So
cool down episode from the big
exactly.
premiere. Um,
Now we're getting into swing of things and we're rolling merrily
yeah.
right along.
If every episode was like a huge, "Oh my god," then it would kind of
Yeah,
like devalue the big episodes, So you always
exactly.
have to have that. And that's not a bad thing.
No,
Um, so me, I guess I'd go 8.5 out of 10. There you go.
there you
Keep
go.
keep a note that these ratings are like pointless. We have no
We're
way
making
of
them up on
calculating
the
them.
spot.
Yeah.
We're just
We will be
throwing
making
it
a
out
ranking
there.
video though of every episode at the
We
end.
will.
So
Stay
look out for
tuned for
that
that.
in a couple months.
I just want to re-emphasize how exciting it is to have new Star Wars every week. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
feel privileged. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Just think all the years that humans have been around. We get to live during Star Wars.
And we get Bad Batch premieres every week. Oh my
Every
goodness.
Friday, and we get to
Let's
watch it like 2 days later, usually.
Ooh, ooh. What do you mean? You mean immediately
One
after it
day.
comes out?
Oh yeah, yeah, at midnight when they drop, definitely. That's totally when we're watching them every
We
time.
actually get a content creators like sneak peek. We
Oh
see
yeah,
every
yeah,
episode a day in advance.
totally. That's why the
That's
videos are always 3 days late.
that's why we have such high quality and
Of
late
course, duh,
videos.
obviously. All
Shout
right,
out Craig for
so
putting that together.
yes, definitely. Thank you, Craig. So, unfortunately, the last few minutes of the recording glitched out, and we don't have any audio from the outro, so I'm just going to do it now. Thank you for listening and watching. Let us know what your thoughts were on this episode, and also what you're looking forward to in the rest of the show. So, yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.